Alright, character spotlight on one of the most requested characters, Lord Cooler. First thing is first. How many key bars? 2. How many skill points? 0. How many health bars? 3. Or 4. Whatever you want to say, whatever vernacular you want to say. 4 health bars is technically the correct term, but the community, we just count the ticks because we're stupid. But anyway, yeah, average start, nothing special, nothing crazy. Let's check out his rush chains. Flying kicks as first, very good. Gut punch as second. Oops. Flying kicks as third, not bad. Key rush wave as fourth. So his rush chain is quite I would like a little more variety. The reason why we want variety in a rush chain, even if it's like a crappy rush chain, like even like a Ki or whatever, the reason why we want variety is so it's called a rush chain for a reason. You could extend your combo even more for every rush chain that you have. Some rush chains are not the best, like let's say Ki rush wave just does like a soft knockback, or you could just knock them back if you fully charge it. So you can't really extend your combo unless you want to spend Ki. So yeah, but with other rush chains, for example, let's do flying kicks and gut punch. You see how I'm able to extend my combo because I did 2 different rush chains. Now if he had a rolling hammer, that would be another rush chain to keep extending my combo. If I had a good Ki, some Ki's are not good, but if I had a Ki that's smoothly connected into a combo, I don't want to say not good, but some Ki's don't smoothly connect into a combo, but if I had a Ki that's smoothly connected into a combo, then that would be an even more combo extensions. So and the reason why you want to have multiple different kinds of rush chains is because on this, if you do an extender, the typical extender, they could start blocking on the second string, right? So that's why it's best to just do all your rush chains when you guys are in front on the first string. Usually if you have their back, that's when I would do, when I have someone's back, that's when I would do all 3 strings, right? I don't think Frieza has the health for this, but you guys get the point. So having repeated flying kicks is not the best. If I'm gonna have a repeating rush chain, I would much rather have a repeating gut punch. You know, the utility in having a repeating rush chain is that, let's say if you miss the opportunity to do flying kicks on the first one, at the very least you can do it again on the third one. You know, and flying kicks does have a lot of utility, but I would much rather have repeated gut punches as a rush chain as opposed to repeated flying kicks. But that's not to say that flying kicks is not good. Flying kicks is very good. So if you miss your opportunity to hit your flying kicks on the first one, you have another one at your disposal. And flying kicks is very, very strong. So yeah, I've been saying in all my spotlights recently that flying kicks is very, very good. So if your character has flying kicks, use it immediately. The reason why you want to use it immediately is because they are overheads. You have to block high to block them. If you catch someone blocking and you hit them with flying kicks, you will open them up most times because a lot of people are not blocking high. A lot of people do not train to block high, and a lot of people don't even know that flying kicks will open them up very easily. So again, if your character has flying kicks, utilize them as often as you can, especially if you see your opponent is not doing anything about it. It could be super perception, it could be super countered, but it can't be vanished at least, and you will open them up and then you combo them from there. But yeah, overall, Cooler's rush chains in his base form are below semi-meta. I would say they're viable enough because flying kicks is very good, and having a gut punch on second, but having a second flying kicks on his third rush chain and then a Ki rush wave, you guys know how I feel about Ki rush wave. So I would say it works. You just gotta be fast. You can't be mashing, because if you're mashing and then you use your rush chain, your later rush chains, they are just not gonna be good. Let's look at his perception move. Little soft knockback. If they have after image strike up, this perception move is good. The reason being is because it will hit people with after image strike. But if you do the follow up, after image strike will go through it. So yeah, just don't do the follow up if someone has after image strike up. Let's see what his step in move is. Oh, he might be like Vegeta. Yeah. What's with people who have Ki rush wave? Their default step in move is a Ki rush wave, but then their combo extender is a gut punch. That's quite odd. I hope they change that. They probably won't though. So it's a little odd. I don't like that about base form Cooler. So Cooler's physical ability to like just throw hands is okay, not the best. Some of his tools are working against him, but it is what it is. I would say that his physical abilities are just not the best. There's much better characters out there, and we have to remember Cooler is 6 DP. 6 DP is very expensive. So just keep that in mind. You want good characters the more expensive they are. The more expensive they are, they have to be good. Or you could simply be good and it won't matter. Okay, let's check out his Ki Blasts. He has these like mini death beams as his regular Ki Blasts, which are very good. One of my favorite things about King Cold, Cooler, Frieza is just using this Ki Blast. As always, I wouldn't recommend spamming it like this because you could run through your Ki very easily. Just pester them, you know? You don't have to run through your Ki and spam, just pester them slowly, one at a time. And then your passive Ki regen when you have less than 2 Ki bars will regenerate whatever Ki you use. Like, look at my Ki gauge right now. I'll use one Ki Blast, use another. Just do it slowly. Of course, I'm doing it a little slower than usual, but you can see how I'm regenerating some. And I could just do this over and over and over, and it will annoy them. And if you're up close, this will stop them from using Perception all the time. It won't be 100% stop rate. Of course, sometimes they'll still catch you with a Perception, but this will cause them to start blocking or deflecting, and that's when you can open them up with Flying Kicks. Or you can just open them up in general. You don't even need to do Flying Kicks, but Flying Kicks will just be another layer of offense for you. Let's take a look at how much Ki his dashing consumes. 2, 3, 4. So 4 Ki bar. No, 4 dashes for 1 Ki bar. I always mess that up. But yeah, he's average in terms of Ki consumption. But like I said, his Ki Blasts do consume a lot of Ki, so do not spam his Ki Blasts all too much. Like I said, one at a time is fine. Cooler's charged Ki Blast is pretty cool, you know? He has one of those slow moving and paralyzing Ki Blasts. But you can see it does cost a lot to do, right? So if you move around, it will track a little harder. If you dash, it will track really hard. And I think the distance increases. So it's just like Lord Slug's charged Ki Blast. If you watch my Lord Slug video, you'll understand. But yeah, you have different types of Ki Blasts for every time you do a different movement. So if you're standing still, right, that'll be one type of Ki Blast. If you move around, that'll be another. And if you dash, that'll be another. The difference is that when you're standing still, it won't track them that hard. If you're moving around, it'll track them a little harder. And if you dash, it'll track them pretty hard. They'll have to dash away to dodge it. But with all the different types of Ki Blasts, it's not very obvious at first, but they are different types of Ki Blasts and they have different properties. So you can only throw one kind of Ki Blast at once. So look at my inputs. I'm trying to throw another charged Ki Blast. I can't. So if you want to throw multiple charged Ki Blasts, which you have to be careful about doing multiple charged Ki Blasts because, like we said earlier, it costs a lot of Ki to do. So be careful with doing that. I would probably only throw 2 at most. But if you want to throw multiple at once, you have to do all the kinds of Ki Blasts. So standing still, moving around, dashing, and then you can open them up. You can also use your Ki Blast to set up and open up, right? What a lot of people do, which this does cost a lot of Ki, they'll use this and then dash, and then that basically could become unblockable because you're hitting them from 2 different directions. Now, would it be worth spending about almost 2 Ki bars just to do that, and then you get super countered, go into a Vanish War, and then lose the Vanish War because you spent 2 Ki bars? I don't know. It's hard to say because even then, it's a risky play, and it's important that we know good risky plays because there are a lot of situations where you have to do risky plays, and it doesn't matter if it's optimal. The risky play could pay off, and you could gain back momentum or gain the lead. So yeah, it's a risky play, but it's still a good risky play because it could be unblockable. If they don't get a super counter off, then that's on them. You got a lot of damage off because you opened them up. So yeah, just know it is a risky play. So if you're in a good situation, probably don't do it. Probably best not to do it. Okay, let's look at Cooler's skills. He has Psychokinesis, which takes a long time to activate, and then you can charge some ki. Let's see how much ki we can charge while Psychokinesis, the paralysis, is active. About maybe 2 ki bars, but I stopped it a little late. Definitely could have punished me. You could definitely charge 1 ki bar while doing that. You could probably get to 1.5 before he could punish you. I don't know if it's worth 2 skill points just to do that, and it's not the easiest to pull off. You'd have to set them up. So it's probably best to set the paralysis up with like a low sweep or a gut punch, right? And then you could maybe charge in their face or maybe switch your character. I don't know. I think they need to buff this move. They need to make it come out faster at least. They need to make it come out way faster, because right now the best ways to stun someone is with a gut punch or a low sweep, right? And a low sweep is basically free. You could get punished for it, yeah, but you could also get punished for using this badly. You could get punished badly for using it because it comes out so slowly. And you could also do the stun thing to gain ki. Of course, it's not as easy and it's not as quick, but at least it does not cost 2 skill points. So, yeah, I don't think this skill is very good. If it came out much faster and paralyzed for maybe an extra 2 seconds or so, it would be much, much better. And I hope so many people are calling for nerfs. I hope Bandai buffs some things and doesn't just nerf things. Like, it would be so much more fun if they buffed Psychokinesis. It would be so much more fun if they buffed buff moves. You know, maybe things wouldn't feel so strong when if we have stronger tools to deal with it. What if this thing paralyzed for like a good 7 seconds? You paralyze someone with After Image Strike, you charge in their face, and then you have enough to Ki Blast spam them for the rest of the time. That would be a great and fun way to counter After Image Strike users. Would it not? Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, Psychokinesis is not the best. Cooler's second skill, as I will show you, is After Image. And if you use After Image, I really recommend that you be very, very aggressive, right? You don't want to use After Image, right? And then you just vanish and don't do anything, right? You want to be attacking them. Once you know you have After Image up, you basically want to be nearly mashing your attack button. I have After Image up, but let's say he opens me up. Wait, why is he standing still? Did I just change my opponent settings? I'm stupid. He attacks me? Okay, he knew how to counter it. You counter the same way you do with Wild Sense. Okay, let's see. I wasn't aggressive enough there. He could have turned around and blocked me. Yeah. You should be very aggressive when you use After Image. Otherwise, you'll just vanish behind them and then do what? Nothing? Yeah, dude, the CPU is putting on a clinic on how to counter After Image. What you do the same thing with as you do as Wild Sense, right? You attack twice and then vanish. The CPU knows how to punish After Image. It's so funny. I do think After Image is slightly better than Wild Sense, because Wild Sense just knocks them back. If you want to extend your combo off of Wild Sense, it will cost a ki bar because you got Z-Burst dash at them. After Image takes a little more skill, but I don't know. Is mashing really a skill? But you could pull off more damage when you have After Image up. The theory behind Psychokinesis could be good. It's just that the way the devs made it is just not good. You know, if it came out faster, it would be great. If it paralyzed for longer, it would be great. Like, it costs 2 skill points. It needs to be stronger than that.
Here you go.
Okay, his super, he has full power energy wave, a stock move. Base Cooler doesn't really fight, I believe, so oh well. They should have gave him a death beam at least. So he has a Darkness Eye Beam as his second super, which is a sweeping beam super. It does a decent amount of damage, 7100, and only costs 2 ki bars, so that's great. It is quite odd because it's a sweeping beam super. I believe I have it featured in another video. You could hit them with a hard knockdown, and you just have to be. Yeah, that misses. That. Yeah, I'm still not too entirely sure about how this should work. Maybe if I do this instead? but it's scaled really heavily. So yeah, it's not the best super. You could still hit it, but it just, I mean, it's 2 key bars, so that's great, right? But you could use it, you could only use it in like certain situations, or maybe you could use it in many situations. You just have to time it, or like wait for the, I don't understand it. You guys could tell I don't understand it, but that just goes to show it takes a little more skill to use it, and there are so many moves in this game that do not require these kinds of conditions. So not my favorite super. But again, if someone knows some good text on how to use the sweeping beam supers, let me know. But regardless, his supers are quite lackluster. I get he didn't really fight in his base form, so it's like whatever. They probably just like BS'd his design. Okay, he has I believe this is called Supernova. I didn't look at the name. 16.5k with no cutscene. Oh wow, that's a decent amount of damage, but no cutscene. Come on. It's a death ball, not supernova. Okay, so Cooler has a death ball of his own. Interesting. No cutscene. Let's see if we didn't get a cutscene because he died. Nope, just straight up no cutscene. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Overall, I'd say base form Cooler is not good. In general, he is a viable character, right? But since he is 6 DP, being a viable character is not enough. You have to be a very good character to justify spending 6 DP on him. So yeah, he is below viable in my opinion. He is still in general a good character because he has after image. His rush chains are not the best, but not the worst. He does have a 2 key bar super. If you know how to use it, that's great. You could use his paralysis in certain situations, but overall, I'd say base form Cooler is not viable. Okay, with all of that being said, let's transform to his final form, which, as you can see, costs 2 skill points to transform from a 6 DP character to a 7 DP character. Alright. He does gain a full key gauge when he transforms. He does gain half a bar of health when he transforms, but is it worth dealing with potentially risking your health to transform in a ranked match? Because you do have to build up 2 skill points, and that could take a while to build up, right? So you could get damaged, and do you want to spend 2 skill points when you're damaged when you could use it on after image, right? And then let's say you do transform instead, you're now locked in. Final form Cooler is a 7 DP character. That's about a 35-second lock-in time. For every 1 DP a character has, that's 5 seconds you can't switch in for. So Hercule could switch in 5 seconds. 7 DP characters, 7 times 5 is about a 35-second switch timer. Every character is a little different, but I think that's the formula they used in general, right? But like I said, every character is slightly different. Yeah, you have to think, is it worth it? Because you could get damaged a lot, and as a 6 DP character in his base form, he could switch in 30 seconds. So it's a lot of risk reward analysis coming around here. Like, you know, for me, I was using base form Cooler and I was not enjoying it. Like, working towards a transformation in the middle of the match was just not efficient. It was difficult. It was not good, especially when I was going up against good players. I did play a few more matches where I just started with final form Cooler in this, and later in the video, I'm not going to be showing that. I'll be uploading another video of me using just final form Cooler at start instead of transforming to him. And I think that's the better route. Right, that way you could gain the benefits of having more health, and you don't have to save your skill points. You could just straight up throw hands right from the start with a 7 DP character. Now, it would be more worth working towards a transformation if you could transform to a much higher DP character, or if you gain more benefits. But base form Cooler being 6 DP, and that hurts your team composition. and it just hurts the flow of your gameplay even more, having to save up 2 skill points and sitting in there for being locked in for 30 seconds as a 6 DP character. There's just a lot of risk that comes with base Cooler, and is it worth doing it just to get final form Cooler? I don't think so. And considering you have characters like base Broly, who is only 5 DP, and once he transforms, he gets a multitude of benefits, insane benefits. So yeah, it could be annoying to work towards a transformation for base Broly, but once you do, the benefits are insane. For final form Cooler, the benefits are not too great, and let's start discussing it now. So like I said, if you transform with him, you will have a full ki gauge and you'll gain half a bar of health. But I did recommend that you guys just start with final form Cooler, because it's probably better to have a 7 DP character than to have a slightly stronger character on your team. I'll take the 2 DP characters over 1 3 DP character, because like I said, base form Cooler is 6 DP and final form is 7 DP. I'd rather not have to work towards a transformation and just have one slightly weaker character. And that's the thing about a 6 DP character, is that you have to determine whether or not it's worth spending 6, because 6 DP is when it starts getting to expensive territory. Like, it's expensive. 5 DP is still manageable, right? But 6 DP, that's a lot, to say the least. But anyway, let's look at his resources if you were to start with final form Cooler. 4.5 health bars, extremely good. 2 ki bars, average, and 0 skill points, average. But 4.5 ki bars, health bars. He's a tanky boy, And look at this. 2, 3, 4. 4 short dashes with 1 ki bar. So Cooler has the attributes of a power character without the mobility holding him back, right? So he could dash around, and that is great. We love that. Let's take a look at his rush chains. Flying kicks as first. Again, he has like these attributes of a power character, being he has more health. You'll see his gut punch and his step in. His perception and his step in are gut punches. He just has these attributes of a power character and the attributes of like the key characters or speed characters. I don't know if there are many power characters out there with flying kicks, you know? I don't know if Cooler is considered a power character, but he has a lot of their attributes. So he's so far looking good. Second rush chain is a rolling hammer. Oops. Third is a ki. Let's see if it connects smoothly. No, it doesn't, but it's fine. Like I said in previous videos, you could use it as a reset opportunity. And a gut punch as his fourth. So, decent rush chain. I wish he had gut punch sooner and rolling hammer being last wouldn't be bad, but this is a viable rush chain. It's semi-meta. It's not a very meta rush chain, but it could hold up. It's still a very, very good rush chain, and what makes it extremely good is that he has flying kicks. Imagine getting opened up by Cooler. Cooler is pretty hard to super counter, because look how slow his normals go. He's not a very fast hitting character, so he's not going to be easy to super counter. You know, so if you get opened up by Cooler, that is a scary open up. Now, I demonstrated in my previous videos the utility of ki, but let me demonstrate again. Let's say I do this normal combo, right? I knock him up, I use my rush chains, and then ki I could use to reset them without needing to knock them back, right? So the utility in that is that a lot of people, they'll do like a hard knockdown, or they'll like knock them back, and you'll have to work towards setting them up again and re-engaging. A lot of people, they'll spend 1 ki bar and Z-burst dash at them. But when you do something like a ki and you don't do a knockback, it's more like what I would call a soft knockback, right? You're still engaged with them. It's just that you have to earn your turn back. And that's great. I really like that. I do not like playing the long distance game. You guys know I'm more of an aggressive player. I actually like ki now, right? Because I learned you could just keep them close to you, and you don't need to spend ki to reset the combo. But of course, it will take skill to open them back up. But since Cooler has flying kicks, it should not be hard to open them up. So this, just having like those 2 rush chains in one character is very, very powerful in my opinion. And I've been just putting a lot of people in the blender, just doing that. Let's look at his Ki Blasts. I believe his Ki Blasts work the same way as it is in his base form. Yeah, same exact thing. So not really much to discuss. Again, be very careful with spamming it. It does cost nearly 1 ki bar to do it. It does paralyze them, so if you do it up close and they get caught off guard, you could open them up very easily, especially if they're doing something like holding perception. It will paralyze them for a good amount of time. Look at that. Okay, let's look at his perception. Gut punch, step in, gut punch as well, although it didn't hit. Super counter? Let me try to show you guys. Step in, gut punch. And his default step in is also a gut punch, so he doesn't have that stupid crap in his base form where his default step in is a Ki Rush Wave and his combo extension is a gut punch. Okay, let's check out his skills. Again, he has Psychokinesis. I already did a whole rant about it. It's not the best. There are some characters where their paralysis move does come out quicker. I believe Boo's comes out pretty quickly. I believe Berserker Kale's comes out pretty quickly. I am not too sure. You guys would have to let me know, but I do think some paralysis moves come out quicker than others. And it would be nice, again, if they buffed Coolers, Frieza's, whatever, just those paralysis moves. He has Psycho Barrier as a second. You guys know I love barrier moves. Unfortunately, this does cost 3 ki bars, but it isn't bad because it is Cooler. Cooler has extra health, so he could soak up that damage if you need to soak up damage. But once he has 3 skill points, Psycho Barrier. And that's probably all he could do with his skill points, aside from the normal things like Revenge Countering and Super Perceptioning. He doesn't have an Instant Spark, as you guys can see. So that kind of sucks. If you're going to use Final Form Cooler, he is probably going to be your ace character, and your ace character not having Instant Spark could be bad if you are not very familiarized with resets and combos and aggressive gameplay. The reason why Instant Spark is so good is because you don't have to worry about ki management anymore. You can just keep dashing at them, spam them with Ki Blast, keep punching them. You don't have to worry about ki management anymore in sparking mode, unless your opponent is also in sparking mode. But if you're keeping the pressure up, they won't be. So Cooler is not a great character to use if you are someone who relies on Instant Spark or someone who doesn't really deeply understand combo resets and combo mechanics. But with that being said, let's check out his supers. He has Death Beam, 2 ki bar super, great. Way better than Darkness Eye Beam. Like I said, like I've shown in previous videos, the finger beams have a stun lock property. So if you guys are high in the sky, let's say for example, I'm able to charge a lot of ki, which, damn, Cooler's ki charge is very slow. That sucks. Let's say we're high up in the sky. Let me get him in the sky. You can use Death Beam, he's stun locked. Use another one. 21k damage. It's always funny how much damage these finger beam supers do. So if you want to do that, I guess a way to really get a lot of damage off without Instant Spark is to use Psychokinesis. Stun him, charge up, and then just, if you have 4 ki bars, just go crazy with the finger beams, right? But it still does suck because it is conditional on how high up in the sky you are. But it does do a lot of damage. You saw how much damage that one combo just did, 16k. That is insane. So you don't really need Instant Spark for Cooler. But I still really recommend that your ace character does have Instant Spark. You guys know I don't really use Instant Sparking that much, but I still have it just in case, right? So it's always really, it's a good mechanic to always have, at least on one of your characters. Okay, let's look at a second super. You could manipulate the trajectory of it. It does go rather slow, so it's probably easy to vanish. It's a pretty cool super. 9200 damage is pretty good, but damn, Cooler charges ki so slowly. Man, I remember in BT3, I used to play Cooler in BT3 a lot, you know, against my brother, and I feel like in BT3, the Death Chaser was so much more brutal. Like when he slammed his foot into the opponent, it looked brutal in BT3. And here, it still looks brutal, but if there were more camera shake and more impact, like, I don't know what it would be called, like, showing the impact frames, it would look cooler, but, haha, cooler, but it is what it is. Alright, still a cool super, it does a lot of damage. It's a 3 key bar super as usual with these rush supers, so still not bad, I like it. Supernova? Wait a minute. Oh. I've never used this ultimate, so I don't know. Okay, so he sets up his supernova with a beam. And then if that beam hits, he then throws the supernova. That's interesting. I think that was 17.8k damage. It's okay damage. I believe most 7 DP characters do about 18k damage with their ultimates, and if they have instant sparking, it will buff the damage even more, so most of them do about 20k damage with their ultimates. That's really it about Cooler, honestly. If you guys know some more things about Cooler, please comment it. It'll be great for both me and my viewers. I'd say what's really holding him back is that his base form is 6 DP. That is way too expensive for him not being that strong. It would be worth using him if he were much stronger in his base form, but like I keep saying, since he costs 6 DP, for the strengths that he has, is not good, and for the weaknesses that he has in his base form is not good either. You know, and having to save 2 skill points and risking getting opened up and not using your skills just to transform into final form Cooler, it's just not worth it, because I think the worst thing about being 6 DP is that now the other characters on your team can't keep up. And God forbid you bump into a giant character where you probably need multiple characters to help you. And if you're not going to have multiple characters to help you, you'll need a 7 DP character. So Cooler would be that guy, but it takes him 2 skill points to transform. And your other characters are going to be really weak against people who have super armor. So that's going to really be a rough time, and I had a rough time in one of my matches. It was tough. Overall, I really recommend starting with Final Form Cooler instead. He's only 1 extra DP. That just means your 3 DP character on your team will have to be a 2 DP character instead. Or maybe you're using a 4 DP character, because that's what I was doing. I had Lord Slug and then had Hercule as well. To do 6, 4, 2, 2, and 1. Not the greatest. I ended up doing, I'm not gonna, like I said earlier, I'm not gonna show the Final Form Cooler video. I'm gonna make it a separate video, but I did 7, 2, 2, 2, and 2. I did Final Form Cooler and 4 Frieza Soldiers, which Frieza Soldier is a very underrated 2 DP character. I think he's one of the best 2 DP characters. Just people just don't know it. They just don't know it. Maybe I should make another Frieza Soldier spotlight video and make it like an actual spotlight video. But overall, I'd say Cooler in his final form is viable. I wouldn't say he's semi-meta nor meta. He is viable, right? He has great rush chains. He has great mobility. He has great mobility even though he plays like a power character. He has great ki blasts. He has a great perception, great stepping, great damage, a 2 key bar super that's great. He has a barrier, but it does cost 3 skill points. Psychokinesis is not the most useful. His ki does charge a little slow, so that sucks. He doesn't have instant spark, so that sucks. So I would say he's in between semi-meta and viable. If you're a really good player, he could be semi-meta, but then again, he has 7 DP, and that just means the other characters on your team will be weak, right? So you have to consider, when you're choosing a character, you have to consider how they will benefit or damage your team, right? Having a high DP character, he could be a good character in general, but does he fill in the gaps of not having stronger characters on your team? Unfortunately, Cooler really doesn't fill in the gaps for that, because he doesn't have instant spark, and his defensive tools do cost a lot. So he is, if you're a good player, I'd say he is in between viable and semi-meta, but in general, I would say he's viable in DP still. You could still use him, you could still win a lot of games with him, right? You could win a lot of games with any character in this game, but the characters you use could make it a little easier, such as Dr. Wheelo. But anyway, I'll show you guys my commentary video. Like I said for the third time, I was using base form cooler, and base form cooler is just not good, and I had to learn the hard way. So enjoy the video. If you learned something, like and subscribe. Have a good night, you guys. Alright, here's my gameplay with cooler. As you saw, my team was base cooler, Lord Slug, Spopovich, Buff Roshi, and Hercule, which honestly is not the best team, especially against certain other teams. It's good enough against like normal teams, such as my opponent in this game. Yep, immediately flying kicks. Very strong rush chain. Hit him with a hard knockdown. I take the opportunity to charge some ki, and then I continue to pressure him. I probably could have charged a lot more ki because I didn't really need to pressure him. He still can't switch. He could switch out now. So I could have charged a lot more ki. And because I didn't, you can see I'm in ki disadvantage. If he gets a super counter off like he just did, I could lose the Vanish War. Let's see if he chokes this. If he wins this, he could switch. I believe I'll let him win. I'm probably just trash and timed the input wrong. I could have used a revenge counter there to stop him from switching, but it is what it is. I won that first engagement. Let's start round 2 now. It's Lord Slug versus Master Roshi. Good matchup for me because Master Roshi is 2 DP, my Lord Slug is 4 DP. I will do way more damage to him than he does to me. But Lord Slug is my second strongest character on this team, so not very many strong characters on my team. Master Roshi and Spopovich do have potential to do a lot of damage, but Spopovich can only shoot 1 ki blast at a time. I don't know if you guys know that. But they are very good defensive characters. Master Roshi spawns in with 2 skill points and 3 ki bars, so that's insane for defensive play. Spopovich comes in with 2 ki bars and 1 skill point, which having that 1 skill point is a good advantage because at least you get 1 free super perception. I bring back in my base cooler. He's basically full health. I use a knockback to transform. I have a full ki gauge here, so I could continue pressuring if I want to. There is a weird glitch where whenever you switch in or transform, you have to move around a little bit before you try to do anything. So if you're trying to Z-burst dash immediately after switching or transforming, you're gonna be stuck in place. You have to move around a little bit. So I forgot to do that. I'm well aware of that oddity in the gameplay, so yeah, that was a mistake on my part. But if you guys are ever switching or transforming and you're like stuck in place trying to do something, it's because you didn't move around first. You have to move around first. Look how much damage Final Form Cooler does. If you're good at setting up transformations, Cooler could be pretty good. It just sucks that his base form is 6 DP. But I have a lot of fun playing Final Form Cooler. Like, Final Form Cooler is a very fun character to play with. Base Form Cooler, I can't really say the same for Base Form Cooler. He charged into sparking mode, he dashes up to me. I hit him with a super counter. Let's see if this hits. It does hit because I had his back. I do it again. It doesn't hit the second time. I bring back in Cooler. For some of these character spotlights, I try my best to play as with the character I'm spotlighting as much as possible. If it's a sweaty game, then I have to just try and win. And I think it's better to spotlight characters where I'm actually trying to win and not just, you know, switching them in constantly, because people want to see how viable the character is in a ranked match, and not just me using the character no matter what. If you want to see the strengths of a character when I'm freaking mollywopping someone, I might as well make a Smurf account and just play against D ranks. But I do want to show you guys how the character does against S ranks and Z ranks, so that's why I never made a Smurf account. I was actually discussing the philosophies of a Smurf account with my chat when I was live streaming yesterday, I'm glad a lot of people agree with me. Like, I don't think it's really necessary to spend another $70 on a game just because you wanna, you're afraid to lose in ranked. You're afraid to lose your rank. Like, I've been doing these character spotlights in ranked with my really high rank. I'm going against some sweaty players a lot of times, and I'm using a character that I do not really care to use, or I don't know how to use. I don't care about losing. It's what it is. What it is. If I lose, then I lose. I don't feel the need to make a Smurf account just because I don't want to lose my rank, or because I want to go around and bully people. Which it is bullying, kind of, you know. If I'm a much better player, what am I doing going around looking for lower ranked people to just mollywop? Anyway, I'm locked off. You can see how strong the lock off mechanic can be. So if you have a character who has like Solar Flare, Instant Transmission, you could buy a lot of time doing that. And a lot of people don't know this, but you don't gain skill points when you're locked off of someone. But if you're locked on, like let's say for example you use Instant Transmission, you're locked on, and then you use Instant Transmission, they're locked off, they don't gain skill points while you do. So they're not gaining any resources while you are. And you could also gain even more resources by using that time to charge your key. That's just a random tip, because I saw I was locked off for quite a while. I should make a End of Z Goku spotlight soon. So many people are asking for that. Too bad I played mid Goku first, and mid Goku is quite mid, as I said in the video. I think my favorite form of Goku is SS2 Goku. Even in BT3, I was so sad in BT3 when SS2 Goku's moveset, so bad. His moveset in BT3 was so bad. I'm so happy they improved it in this game. Like, I feel there's so much to pull from the Majin Vegeta and SS2 Goku fight, and I'm just surprised they, in the past games, they never did that. But here comes out his Hercule. This is his last character. Here's a good gameplay to show all the people who are tired of seeing timeouts. But the thing is that if it ends like this, that means there's a massive skill gap. 5v5 should be ending in a timeout, because if it doesn't, between two really good players, the match would take maybe 20 minutes.
All will tremble before me.
And you can see I'm pretty tired. I'm stretching and shit. But anyway, I go on to beat this guy another 2 times, so I'm not gonna show that. I want to show some other gameplay, which here's the other gameplay. And yeah, here's the challenge. People are tired of seeing me win. Cooler, and I get a Dr. Wheelo. Nice. Let's see how I do. Oh, this was my first game with Cooler, so I mixed up the order. And it's Apris. He is a viewer of mine, a Z rank. He is a rather decent player, but a lot of people say he's not decent because he uses Wheelo. And this is the downside of picking Cooler, right? Because he is 6 DP, he does not break through super armor on his first hit. But because he is so expensive, you do not have other strong characters to help you deal with a character such as Wheelo. When you're going up against Wheelo and you're under 7 DP, you'll probably need 2 or 3 characters to help you deal with him. And my low sweep misses there. That sucks. Okay, I did a decent amount of damage to both his Wheelo and his Bardock. I didn't see if I did meaningful damage to his Wheelo. I'm just about to do meaningful damage to his Bardock, but will I do even more? Nope. And that might as well have been full health, so that's unfortunate. I'm at key disadvantage here. The match is rather laggy, so yeah, it kind of, you can see how the frames is kind of dropping, so that sucks. I bring out my Roshi. He is at key advantage here. He, as in my Master Roshi, is in key advantage because he comes in with 3 key bars. Apris brings in his Master Roshi. Since I spent all of my key, I'm not in key advantage anymore. Okay, I finally open him up. My combo just freaking drops. I don't know if it's because of me or because of something else. It's probably because of me. Yeah, you can see I'm having trouble inputting some things. The excuse is that it's quite laggy. You can see in the bottom right hand corner. It is Apris's PC that cannot handle the frames of this map. His Wheelo is at full health. I should have transformed there, but I also don't want to be locked in for too long. I'm in such a strong habit of using my Ki Blast. I'm using my Ki Blast on Wheelo right now, which you really shouldn't do because Super Armor will nullify it. Unless you're using Sword Trunks. Sword Trunks' charge Ki Blast will hit him. And I think this was a risky play on my part, but I need my 7 DP character. If I don't have Final Form Cooler, the only other strong character I have is Lord Slug. And Lord Slug is not that strong. At the very least, I do have a full Ki gauge, so if he super counters me, I should win the Vanish War. And vice versa. If I super counter, I should still win the Vanish War because I'm at Ki advantage. Not anymore because I'm spamming my Ki Blasts. And the broken stage is getting in my way, so I just dashed up. I don't know if you guys saw, it was getting in my way. I could finally almost switch. I could switch now. But the character I switch in will have to deal with Sparking Mode Bardock, more than likely, because he is at 4 skill points now. So I'll bring in my Lord Slug. Nope, he wants to save his Bardock. So I have to remember, next time his Bardock comes in, he will have Instant Spark and he is going to be healthier. Okay, I'm doing a good job of guessing which direction he's going to hit me when he extends his combo. Okay, his Bardock is back in. I don't know if I agree with that switch by him. His Bardock was not done regenerating, but he has Instant Spark here. He's going to be able to switch out again anyway, because I'm just going to stall out his Sparking Mode, and he'll be able to switch after I'm done stalling it, and he'll be able to damage me. So this is very unfortunate for me. It is a little laggy. I have Explosive Wave, luckily. I want to bring in my Cooler. If I bring in my Cooler, this will be a little risky. Yep, and now I shouldn't do it because he just went Instant Sparking. So this is probably damage I'm gonna have to eat because Wheelo in Sparking Mode is very strong. And that is why I don't want to bring in my Cooler. I'm just gonna have to wait for him to be done with Sparking Mode. He has another Sparking Mode, so I have to be very careful here. He's gonna throw a Ki Blast and probably do it again very soon. Yep. And not having strong enough characters, even if they're lower DP characters, having characters that are like 4 DP could help you handle this. But Master Roshi and Spolpovich are probably not the best for that. And my Lord Slug is almost in kill range. And I use a Desperation Explosive Wave. And I get cheesed out. Apris cheeses me out. You see me shake my head. And he has another Instant Spark at his disposal. And that was probably the win condition. That was probably the win condition right there. Because losing a character is massively bad. I have to down one of his characters now. Cooler is not good for dealing with this team. Base form Cooler, at least. If I had Final Form Cooler from the start, I'd have a better fighting chance. That's not to say that I'd win, right? I'd have a better fighting chance. Because I could immediately start damaging his Wheelo. And whatever quote-unquote stronger characters I have with base form Cooler, it's not going to be... Like, I'd rather have Final Form Cooler than a slightly stronger character on my team. He uses his ultimate. I'm not sure if I vanish this. Let's find out. That is not good at all. I should have maybe used my barrier. I was not thinking. I could have used my barrier there maybe. Because Cooler's barrier could protect you from ultimates. So that was probably the second win condition. He has downed my strongest characters, being Lord Slug. Well, he didn't down my cooler, but my cooler might as well be downed at this point. And again, that is the risk of using higher DP characters, is that you will have less characters that you can depend on. Like, Roshi and Spopovich aren't bad, but they just don't do the job as great, you know? They could do meaningful damage, but it's not meaningful enough a lot of times. Not enough to the point where I could come back with just those two. But maybe Apris is gonna prove me wrong here. He hits me with a bunch of low sweeps. Doesn't matter, time is up. And he wins. And it's very frustrating. I'm sure you guys know how frustrating it is to deal with a slightly laggy match against Weelo. And instant spark spamming. So, I don't have the proper team composition to deal with this. Base form cooler is not good.
Over my little brother, you've got some nerve.
And like I said in my previous video, or maybe 2 videos ago, some people would be like, oh, you're making excuses. And it's like, excuses means you're excusing yourself from the responsibility. Like, I've played Apris many times with different characters, and it's just the fact of the matter is that I would have a better fighting chance if I had better characters. That's not to say that I would definitely win, and I only lost because I'm playing a team that's not built for this. No, I'm just pointing out weaknesses, right? I'm not saying that Apris would definitely lose if I were playing a different team. No, Apris could still beat me, but you could see the weaknesses in using base form cooler here. And if you watch my previous videos, I have featured Apris many times, and I have had better teams, and I was able to stand a much better chance. So you could see, at least on my end, you could see the weaknesses that shows with using base form cooler. The 6 DP is like that really awkward DP where it's just like, okay, it's starting to get expensive, but does the 6 DP character have the attributes to help you combat a lot of these characters you see in ranked, such as Dr. Weelo, such as Giants, such as Broly? 6 DP is still not enough for that. And then you are then damaging your team composition because 6 DP, like I said, is very expensive. So it's probably worth to just skip over 6 DP and just choose a 7 DP character, which is why I said in my spotlight is like, yeah, I might as well just do a final form cooler instead of choosing base form cooler. Base form cooler does not have much to offer anyway. Yeah, see him trying to use instant spark. Knocks me away, and here comes the sparking spam. Use a super perception to stop the burst rush, the burst dash. Not burst rush, that's Gohan's move. Z-burst dash. I think it's a different name for Giants. It's not a Z-burst dash. And I can't vanish that. I gotta stall out and try to switch. I don't have key advantage here. The frames are making this game look odd. It's kind of making me nauseous watching this. Oh my god, you could see how the transformation took forever to come out because the frames can't handle this. And people will say, oh, just play Hyperbolic Time Chamber. And I say this every video. Hyperbolic Time Chamber is such a freaking boring stage. But maybe I'll have to deal with it because I've been complaining about frame drops too much recently. But it's not on my part, you could see. I'm perfectly fine. But oh well, it is what it is. Okay, I'm doing pretty good damage to his trunks. He's able to switch. That was a nice vanish on his part. I fake him out with the Z-burst dash. Let's see if I can do meaningful damage to his Bardock. Cooler does a lot of damage. Yep, he switches, and this is not good for me. This was a mistake on my part, switching in Lord Slug. Lord Slug had so little health. This is not good. At least his sparking mode is over. I have an explosive wave. I go for the aggressive play. I don't know if that was a good idea. Okay, he switches out. He goes for the sparking mode. He knows my Lord Slug is in kill range. He plays a little too aggressively, and I catch him with a perception gut punch.
Can't even compete with an old man. Get lost. Can't even compete with an old man. Didn't hurt. Get lost. No way. I can never forgive you,
And I have to try and stall out his sparking mode again. I do not have the characters for this. He uses his ultimate. He's going to be able to switch after this, because I'll be locked off regardless if it hits me or not. I mean, regardless if I block it or not. And I think maybe they should change that. If I block it, I should not be locked off. Like, I get why they made the lock-on mechanic so bad, because then, I don't know. It's more so to give an advantage to those who, it's a reward for like Solar Flare, instant transmission. Like, I remember in the old BT games, instant transmission felt almost useless because they could find you immediately. So maybe they could make the lock-on system in specific situations very weird or very weak, and then buff the lock-on system when you're trying to freaking find them and they're in front of you. I feel like that could easily be done, you know, making the lock-on system work differently depending on the situation, or maybe it is difficult. I don't know. Yeah. Having to depend on a select few characters to help you fight a team like this is not the easiest. I'm trying my best though. I have a barrier at my disposal. He uses instant sparking once more. Okay. Because he was at a lower angle than me, he gets that funny knockback animation. So if you have the high ground on someone and you use a barrier or explosive wave, you'll get that funny knockback animation. Yeah, I can't say this enough. This team is not built around dealing with instant sparking spam.
I'm gonna be feeling that tomorrow.
I shake my head. I take a sip of my energy drink. I think about whether or not I want a rematch, because it is rather laggy, and dealing with instant sparking spam with this team in lag is not the best. But I take the rematch anyway, because fuck it.
Fight with me over my little brother.
I do not care if I lose. I'll take it as a challenge. I want to win at least one game. And I catch him, and you can see my face. I'm like, what the hell? I caught him, but then my combo just doesn't connect. And things like that could really snowball into worse things. But at least I catch him in the combo here. He has a full key gauge already. What makes Dr. Wheelo such a strong character is that he's an android. He has perpetual key gain. So he has android properties and super armor. So that is insane. He could literally gain a full ki gauge without needing to charge up to it. Right? So he basically doesn't really need to earn a full ki gauge. And then because he has super armor, he could literally just sit there and charge up to sparking mode. Especially if you have a low DP character. And especially if he just knocks you back. With most other characters, if they want to charge into sparking mode, they first have to charge to a full ki gauge. So it's much harder for them to earn, and you can see how this stage is messing me up, and the frame is dropping. Like I could not catch him because the frames were dropping so hard there. But here we are fighting in that little room. Apris did a really funny move, hiding in there to charge into sparking mode. So regardless if I was able to catch him or not, it was still a really good and funny move. I like it. I like the play. Oh my god, you can see his PC is tripping out right now. Look at the bottom right hand corner. If you go back, you can see it was flashing red.
Take this. Over here. Right there.
Okay, good thing I caught him there. If I got hit by that super, I'd be pretty upset about it. Okay, I get super countered. I revenge counter him to stay in the engagement. He goes for the overhead a lot, and I'm not adapting to it, so that sucks. I'm not adapting to it probably because I'm just freaking frustrated, and my combo misses again. This is just not my game. This is not my match right here. Like, I have so many things that just aren't connecting. And if you fight giants, you know giants have a weird hurt box. Like when you try to combo a giant, like I'd say 20% of times it's really weird. Especially when you have a slight high ground on them, your combo could literally go through them, or your combo will just drop. Will just simply drop, and that sucks. But his sword chunks, his Z chunks is putting the moves on me. He pulls off an instant sparking literally in my face without any setup, so that sucks. I don't do anything about it. When Z chunks is in sparking, it's probably best to try and open him up. Because if you allow him to get his ki blast spam up, that is very annoying to deal with. And I tried to vanish it. I failed at vanishing it. You can see that I'm disappointed in it because I'm shaking my head. Okay, I am adapting to the overheads now. And I think I'm gonna transform, even though it might be a risky play. Cooler being 6 DP means when I switch in, I'm locked in for 30 seconds. So he has 30 seconds to open me up and damage me. I might as well transform and gain half a health bar. Especially when I just freshly switched in. It won't be that much longer. Because I was pretty far away. Oh, wait, never mind. The ki blast did eventually hit, but does nothing because he has false courage up. He transforms to small Roshi, so he could use after image strike. He tries to charge into sparking mode. I open him up. Now's my chance to down a character. If I could down his character here, that would be massive. And he gets a super counter off. I try to keep in the engagement, but unfortunately he has enough skill points. He has more than me, and he is able to knock me back and land this super. And that was my opportunity to get a character. If I got a character, I could have potentially won the game. But now he's able to switch. I think I probably could have used a revenge counter after that super. But I looked at my skill points before the super, and I had only one, but I gained enough for a revenge counter afterwards. So I wasn't paying attention to my resources. And you can see how if you're paying attention to your resources and it could be good. I could have used the revenge counter and kept in the engagement and potentially down his Roshi, especially since he's probably busy inputting switch. Could have caught him off guard and downed his Roshi and win the game, but yeah, I was not paying attention to my resources. But even if I did hit the revenge counter, there's no guaranteeing that Apris wouldn't have reacted in the right way. So that's why it's better to just get better at the game instead of relying on ifs, ands, and buts.
You're done. This is no joke.
He dashes up, uses Instant Spark.
Didn't hurt.
Finally get my super counter off. I use a revenge counter. He could punish me by using his ultimate in the middle of my revenge counter animation. But I guess he doesn't want to do that. He uses the unblockable Ki Blast to set up his ultimate. Let's see if this hits. Sometimes it doesn't hit. And it does hit. And he has another Instant Spark now. I don't have the key to approach, and I'm dead here. I tried to dash all the way to the sky, but I don't have the key to deal with it. Luckily, I stall it out just enough to be able to switch. I open up his Wheelo, but his Wheelo is basically full health. Well, he is full health, so I can't really do much. Now's my chance to do some meaningful damage. My hit doesn't connect, so that sucks. Cooler swinging at nothing. I'm swinging at nothing. I don't know what the hell is going on. Okay, he switches in his Roshi. Now's my chance to try and down him, but he gets a super counter off on me. I don't vanish it. He has after him his strike up. I grab him, and I believe time is almost up anyway. Yeah, time is up. Oh,
Living a
gosh.
well-rounded life.
Cheesed me out 3 times. That's insane. Whatever. And then you see me laughing at the fact that I get cheesed out. Like, it is frustrating to deal with in the moment, but after the fact, I do find it a little funny. It's like, it's whatever. I really don't care if people play cheesy. Like, I just take it as a challenge to try and counter whatever they do. But unfortunately, I could not pull off the counters. And so long as they don't rage quit on me when I'm in the winning position, then it's whatever. It's all cool, you know. It's just a game. Play however you want to play. If you're playing a certain way because you're scared people will deem you as cheesy, whatever. Like, I don't know. But there are some things that are very difficult to overcome, such as Apris being able to do Instant Spark like what 3 or 4 times in a row. That's just crazy. That's too much, and I hope the devs are able to make the proper changes so that doesn't happen. You know, it's okay to use Instant Spark maybe 2 times in a row at most, but it becomes like the positive feedback loop could be way too strong in this game. So it is what it is. I take it as a challenge, and I'm not going to be crying over it. It's frustrating, but I'm definitely not going to get on video and be like, oh, where, this game is trash. Whatever. Anyway, if you guys learned something, like and subscribe. Have a good night.